Hello once again, YouTube. Today, we're going to be talking about man, dude, guy, soldier boy. The most generic-looking protagonist I think that Fate has. Like, at least Shiki, who I hate with a burning passion, has glasses. John Fate, yeah, this is him. It's John Fate. This is just a guy. This is a background character guy. He's just a random dude. And I love him. Well, I love the fact that he's a berserker because he just refuses to accept all of the crazy shit that's happening to him.
My boy, soldier boy.
This guy does have a bandage on his neck. He does, but can you see it in this? In right now. I mean, you can kind of like make it out like right here, but this could be like just normal. This could just be like shading. It's hard to make out. He just looks like a guy. Yeah, he's a berserker because he's stupid. He's like, ghosts aren't real. What are you talking about? Oh yeah, and then his final ascension art is goated as fuck. I don't know why. Every time I see this fucking thing, every time I see the way that he looks in this final ascension
Anime
art,
man has nips.
all that I think about, the only thing he's got the fucking werewolf pose. He looks like
Go to your room and think about what you did.
Look at him. He's so, I don't know. It's the shading, it's the coloring, it's everything. He looks like he would unironically say the word oomphy. Alright, sorry, we're gonna hide that. I love him. I love him so much. He's so goofy. Enema Elish Nullification.
Did you know? Did you?
Oh, okay. This is maybe the
Brainless man, my beloved.
This is maybe the funniest fucking thing ever. Because look at who's on this list. Okay. Okay, listen. Ryogi Shiki is directly in tune with the root. Is like immediately a part of like the true magic. Charlemagne, one of the most famous kings of all time. Nikola Tesla and all the other pioneers of the stars who were on this are pioneers of the future, whatever it's called. Him and Drake and fucking Da Vinci Lily and all of them paved the way for humanity to make sure that they could go as far as they could. Super Alco is on this list, yes. Voyager and all the foreigners who aren't beholden to the world's rules, the beasts of humanity, the Antichrist, the various Olgas, the man who devoured Britain itself, the King of England turned into her summer form, the only true dragon in all of FGO, a man possessed by the demon of music to create great things beyond human reconciliation. Guy. God. Fucking.
Yay! Himbo brain. And a high school girl with appendicitis.
When you're better than... He's so confused. He thought the Enema Elish was an enema. He was just like, I don't want to do that shit. My bowels are fine, dude. It's okay. Because, like, look at that list. Look at who is on this list. Like, the only other outlier who's, like, kind of here, in my mind, is Mozart. But I understand it because Mozart is, like, such a weird and special case. Also, why is Super Romulus not on this list if normal one is? That's also kind of weird. Alright, moving on. His stats are kind of whatever. 9k and 10k, you know, he's good. He's MP5. He's MP5 for free, which is good. I'm not okay. I need to talk about this because I just saw it. He has presence concealment A because he's just a guy. He makes additional stars because he just blends in with the crowd because he just looks like a normal person. Yeah, fucking who? He can't be scared, confused, or have his skills sealed. He can't be confused because he's too stupid. So something that was revealed in this event, which is it's not really a spoiler, but
What's your talent? Stupid.
Did you know that he manually breathes? He has to tell himself how to breathe. It's actually a really interesting in-depth thing that they went into it, but I'm just going to make fun of him and say this motherfucker has to breathe on his own. Yeah, he has to manually breathe at all times. So his first skill is that he gets a 20% Buster, 20% Art up for 3 turns, 6-turn cooldown. And he has 5 times Death Evasion. Now, what this means is that any hit that he has while this is active that would kill him does not kill him. I think his face card is going to say, yeah, curses and stuff will probably still get him. In fact, the stackable normal evasions and the count of normal evasions is consumed before Death Evasion when taken. Yeah. Yeah, it literally means that, okay, so if he has 1 health, he can get hit 5 times while on 1 health and live. Yeah, it is an HP conditional PFA, that is correct. Which is a very good skill because it pairs well with his second skill. I like this skill, I like that design, it's very interesting. So his second skill is that, okay, let's talk about this because some people were confused about this before. I figured out how this works, I used him some. I'm going to be using him a lot because I do plan on grailing him because he's really fun to use. So what this means, so multiplies the value of NP gauge by 50% at base, 100% at max. So what that means is that if he has 50% gauge and he uses this skill at NP or at skill level 1, he gets 25% NP gauge because it takes 50% of 50, which is 25, and adds that to his NP gauge. So at max level, this doubles whatever his current NP gauge is at. So if he's at 50 NP gauge and he pops this, he gets 50 NP gauge. If he's at 150 NP gauge and he pops this, he gets 150 NP gauge as a battery. So he can go from 150 to 300 immediately. This seems like it's kind of confusing, but it's not. It's just, it is a little bit weird, especially when it's not at like the normal levels like this. So then he gets, so with the pen, he can start in 40%. I mean, if you want to use as a pen and then this immediately, then yes, he can have 40% battery at max level, yes. So he gets 25% crit damage guaranteed, and then if he has less than 75% HP, he gets 25% crit damage. If he has less than 50%, an additional 25. If he's below 25%, then another 25%. So he can get up to 100% crit damage if he has less than 25% HP. So 100% crit damage on a Berserker with this skill alone to make sure he doesn't die is really good. That lets him do some pretty fun stuff. He seems very fun to play. He's very fun. I'm enjoying the hell out of using him. And it gets better because his third skill is equally as weird and unique. Near Eternity Asceticism and Pagoda to learn 100 tricks.
Ach yes, NPC energy straan weer disonen.
So, what this does is it changes your entire deck to be either Quick, Art, or Buster, and you get to pick which one that you want. And then it increases its abilities for 30% for that one turn.
Why do I need so much math for the shirtless mountain man?
Because if he has to manually breathe, you have to bust out a calculator. Calculated Oonga Boonga, that is correct. So this is really interesting because, like, if you want to, you could just have him make stars. I don't think he's really good at it, but he could. Just, you know, art chain with him if you really felt like it. What's his base NP color? Well, his only NP color is Buster. Caster immunity, okay, interesting. I already talked about his passives, I fucking love those.
Return to monkey.
So people are speculating that this is going to be changed or like renamed by the end of the event. No, the NP does not change. It is a Buster attack. It ignores invincibility and it ignores damage cut. Important to note that it ignores damage cut, not defense, damage cut. It's the only skill in the game, I believe, it's the only NP in the game that ignores damage cut. And they both activate first. And if they have a defense up, he just does more damage to them anyway. So if they're trying to, like, get around him, it doesn't work. His NP is that it's a one-hit, massive fucking hit, because he's going to be NP 5. It increases his own attack damage before he does it. And then he just nukes you, and then he dies.
Let me remind everyone again, this NPC do this can resist Tanum Elish, and now he has an anti-world NP.
The sacrifice cannot be prevented, but can trigger gut status. So there's a multi-core, there is a, not a multi-core, there is an Ordeal Call farming node right now that is a, an Olympus soldier, and then Steno, I believe it is, that he can 2-turn if you have Summer Chloe. It hits really hard, and then he dies.
What even is the damage cut? Get real.
He's very good at killing Nash. He's the only one who has ignored defense cut in the whole game, right? I believe so, yes. I could be wrong about that. But from what I've seen and looked up, it looks like he's the only one in the entire game who can ignore damage cut, which is a very annoying skill because it just means it's like usually it's like temporary. They just take less damage. He just goes right through that. If they have more defense, he just cuts right through that as well. Yeah, no, he has a lot of usability. I like him a lot. I genuinely think that the fact that he's able to kill himself and get out and make room for another DPS is insanely powerful. Like, just imagine this. Imagine if Arash was single target, and now you've got a good idea of like why you want to use him. Imagine if Arash was single target and guaranteed to hit everybody except Castoria. He's very powerful. He has a lot of application. I'm looking forward to seeing what he does.
There is something weird with his NP. Despite his NP having a self-die mechanic, it doesn't have a bloated multiplier like Ash or even Gun. It's a normal multiplier.
It doesn't, but I think that the reason behind that...
You cannot run away from this man.
Exactly, is because you can't get away from him. He has Ignore Invincible and Ignore Defense Cut, or Damage Cut, which means that he's going to hit
this
you guaranteed, pretty much. Because you're not going to fight Castoria like 99.99999% of the time, especially with somebody with her ability, right? And so the trade-off of instead of having a multiplier is that he's pretty much guaranteed to hit his target. He's going to kill the person who he's hitting. It's really, really powerful. And then if you want to keep him around, you can give him guts. Targetable guts is more common these days. And then if you really don't want to keep him around, you can just send him on his way and replace him with like a better DPS in the back line. He'll take care of like one really annoying thing and then be replaced by, like, say, a support. He is going to make an enormous difference, I think, for a lot of accounts if you're playing this event, because he's kind of crazy. I don't know. I could be wrong on that. What do you guys think? I think he's pretty strong. I think he has a lot of potential as well. I believe he's the only sacrificial single target unit. I guess the other thing about him that's really strong, that it shouldn't be underestimated, is this skill. Because if he needs to, if you just like need him to not die, you can just pop this shit and then he's just around. 5 times. He avoids death 5 fucking times. I think in multi-core setups he'll replace Kintoki unless your Kintoki is hella cracked. I mean, yeah, he works with Kintoki in that sense, where if you just have him in the front line, nuke a guy, bring in Kintoki, have Kintoki nuke that other guy, and then have your next wave nuke whatever the third wave is. Easy. Done. Yeah, no, he's strong. He's very strong. I think a lot of people might sleep on him because he is kind of weird.
You might rather want to use Ash against single target sabers because Ash's multiplier is actually higher for some reason at equal levels.
Sure, that's one class though. I mean, Arash is still good. He still gets playtime, as he well should. He's a good unit. But like against everybody else, I think Soujuurou is going to be a bit of a godsend for a lot of people. Yeah, I look forward to just seeing how he goes. By the way, Brynhild's beloved. Brynhild saw this fucking NPC and was just like, oh, that fucker's going right to Valhalla. I'm telling you right now, I'm taking that man right to fucking Valhalla.